What's the one today? Habits of note taking, or the habit of writing thoughts. I only started doing this in the last 3 years, maybe less. So shows the value of challenging yourself. But I find it exponentially beneficial to me in the habit of, from journaling, from writing thoughts down, to reviewing, to measuring, to kind of an extension of that. So I guess I always had a kind of, like digital sound boards where I put goals and visions and statements and visualize on my creativity side, to putting down decision tools and process plans and projects in that capacity. I guess it's the same as having budgeting and writing those things down. I did all that sort of stuff. But this sort of complements all of it. When you have a habit of journaling your thoughts, of writing things down, and it can be digitally, don't get me wrong. I mean, I type things out, or I physically write it, handwrite it. I think the stumbling block I had with handwriting it before was reviewing it over the notepads and going back pages and months. I never would do it. Whereas digitally, when I digitally do it, I can do searches, I can scroll quite happily and easily through pages. I mean, it's in handwritten form on my journaling for the concept of it, but there's lots of note taking that I do which is digital. So, it's more the act of the habit. It tends to resonate, it tends to promote change, it tends to show patterns, it tends to be a lot more present. So yes, I wrote this down this morning, and it's just a perspective, as note-taking promotes the opportunity to practice the self-awareness of my potential. I don't know how I come up with all that, but that's what it means to me. And it doesn't matter whether it's just in a conversation and I take some notes, whether it's taking 20 minutes like every morning from a journaling perspective to journal something. That act of preparing, planning, discipline, consistency, you get to practice all those things, which is why I use that in that quote there. And so that single habit alone gives you an opportunity to practice some of those fundamental pieces, in my opinion, from the discipline of taking those notes, from the aspect of reviewing your notes, from a concept of having a diary. So I have a calendar with whatever's in it, right? That's all forms of note taking. There's accountability in here. There's what's in your note taking that complements that. So it feeds off it. So now, with the structure in this process, I'm continually writing down my thoughts. And then from those thoughts, I'm planning the future. I'm looking at and not just the future, what I presently do. And I'm basing that on the past. So I'm reviewing yesterday. I'm reviewing last month. Constantly. And by writing it down, I have a wider net of data, of information that's fairly real, that's quite factual. It's factual information that I can relate to and challenge myself and challenge, where are the gaps in this from this framework. I can even, so I'm going over time, but as an example, I promote here we go. Here's where I will, it's off my screen. So in 2-3 weeks, I've got it in there to review all my pillars: career, finances, fitness, health, learning, all that sort of shit. I've got a list there of stuff that I'm going to think that's blocked out to do. But that requires a whole a range of accountability and responsibility to have data to review. To review a month's worth of what have I done in my career for this month? How do I rate myself? I'm not just going to think of what I did yesterday. What did I do 27 days ago? 35 days ago? Right? And what's the pattern and what's the thing? Well, I need information for that. My mind and memory's okay, but it's not as good as writing it down. But then how do I review it? So I can review it. So as an extension of that, the habit of note-taking. And, it took me a while to get to this, but it's kind of the cornerstone. And what's relative about it? What's the most relative about it? That habit, it promotes discipline. However way you spell it. Can't remember. Discipline. Accountability. Consistency. And then it promotes habits. Further than that, it requires data. So that requires review. It requires forecasting. You can forecast from it, right? It encourages that. So all these stuff comes in and out of it. So some of those things you think, well, I'd be better off if I was more disciplined, if I was more accountable, if I took more ownership of stuff. Well, that's what this promotes. Writing it down, reviewing it, seeing what you've missed, write it again. What did I do today? Well, what did I do yesterday? Well, what I did yesterday, I can tell you what I did yesterday. I wrote it down, what I did yesterday. I can tell you what I did at work. what meetings I had, what were the key points of those meetings. Now, that becomes follow-ups for this week, doesn't it? There's follow-ups to that. Generally, there's follow-ups, there's reporting, it's all writing things down, right? And I'd be nuts not to note take on that or review that and then look at it and go, where's the gaps? What's not working?